Welcome back to Just Cup Radio on BJPenn.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton, in episode 218 live at UFC Seattle, and it's a pretty stacked show. First up, we're going to be joined by Chase Hooper to preview his fight against Lance Gibson Jr. Chase gets a chance to fight in Seattle, which he's really looking forward to, and a really good chat with Chase, just about kind of his last fight, what he took away from that one, and kind of the time off, and fighting a guy in Lance Gibson that he kind of was surprised to get, and it was a really interesting chat. We're then going to be joined by Julian Erosa to preview his main card fight against Illyrian Douglas. It should be a fun fight for however long it lasts. Julian getting a chance to fight at home in Seattle. He's looking forward to that, but he thinks Douglas brings it. Obviously, a lot of quick knockouts, so he thinks it's going to be a slugfest, a potential fight of the night or performance bonus, and then a potential performance bonus. We're then going to be joined by Terrance McKinney and Kyle Nelson to preview their fight against each other. We get to hear both sides of their how training camp was and how they kind of see this fight playing out, but really good chat with both of them. And then we close things out talking to Adrian Yanez to preview his fight against Ricky Simone. Adrian's been off for a while. This wasn't something he wanted. He was kind of frustrated by the time off, but it was a really good chat with Adrian about it. But be sure to share the show, subscribe, and thank you all for listening. All right, we're jumping to lightweight Chase Hooper, who's back in action and gets that Seattle fight. Chase, how's it going, man?
Good, yeah, just hanging out, final week-ish of camp, and yeah, feeling good.
I know Seattle last year kind of talked about it. You said it might be too quick of a turnaround. You didn't get on there. Were you pretty surprised that they were going back a year later, like already that quick?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it kind of boded well for that with the event selling out the way that it did. I mean, this is a little later than I wanted to get to fight, but I mean, the benefits of fighting at home are well worth the wait. But yeah, here we are. Happy that it's working out.
And for you, like, were you disappointed? I know it was like a quick turnaround. Were you disappointed you didn't get on last year's? Or do you think it kind of all worked out now that you get a full camp and everything and for this one?
Yeah, no, it all worked out. I had some issues last year. Like my knee had been bugging me, and it was bugging me for most of this year. I mean, like a good, like, yeah. I mean, my knee was bugging me anyways. I was like, I don't really want to jump right back into a camp and like get that quick turnaround. So a little longer was nice, but I mean, this break between fights is like coming up on what 7-8 months from August to now. That's a little long, but yeah, it is what it is. You just got to take them as they come.
And then for you, Lance Gibson Jr., like how familiar were you with him as an opponent?
Yeah, he's actually he's somewhat local as well. He's a Canadian up in Vancouver. I've actually been like in the back for some of his fights. Like we've shared a locker room. Like I had teammates on the same card and that type of stuff. So I've seen some of his stuff on the local circuit. Yeah, I knew about him for a while. I knew he was trying to get into the UFC. I watched his Bobby Green fight when it happened. And then, yeah, I don't know. I guess kind of surprised that UFC gave us the matchup. But it's just one of those times where they were like, hey, here's the matchup. Here's the date. Like, take it or leave it type of thing. And you don't, I'm not the leave-in type. So, yeah, had to get back in there somehow.
How come you were surprised by this? Just that they thought you'd maybe try to build both you guys up separately, like get you guys both wins or what?
No, I mean, I just, I don't know. I guess there's so many lightweights. Like there's what, 90 of us, something like that. I don't know. I just don't expect the guy that I saw, fighting locally a couple months ago to be my next opponent, that type of thing. Like, yeah, I don't know. We're friendly, but UFC is going to be saving a bag on the flight stuff. But this is business. I mean, it doesn't bug me at all. So
I know when we talked about the Seattle card last year, it was kind of weird that like you, Chiesa, like Erosa, McKinney, all those guys weren't on it. And when I talked to them, they were kind of saying the same thing. But now all five of you guys are back on this one. Like, does that add to it having like a lot more local fighters on this one? Do you think?
Yeah, this will be funny. I think I'll be maybe Lance too, but I'm probably the only one that's not actually flying into Seattle. Like all these other guys that were like local that have like moved away, or Mike's in Spokane. It's like a 4.5-hour drive. I don't think he's driving that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm the only actual like local guy. If we're really splitting hairs here, but hey, doesn't really matter. Just saves me a flight, saves me, yeah, just drive up to Seattle. It's gonna be nice.
Are you like in Seattle? Like, can you stay at your house, or do you go to like the hotel then?
it's like a 30, 45-minute drive, like depending on traffic. I'm gonna stay at the hotel just because, like, I don't know, like all the stuff that you end up having to do fight week, like it's not worth me driving there and back all the way. Especially with like doing the weight cut and stuff. But yeah, I'll drive up there and I'll be driving around all week. Maybe go try and use. We got another gym that we like cross train with. Maybe go try and work out at their spots when we're there. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty close, but maybe not close enough for me to just stay at home, which I don't know. I like it. The process of it, it kind of just gets you into like, okay, yeah, this is a fight. Like, just keep the process as normal as we can.
It's been a bit since we saw you. Like, what do you kind of do in that time? Like, do you look a lot at that last fight at kind of what you can do differently, or do you kind of like what has kind of past couple of months been like for you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things. I was winning until I wasn't, but that's all fights, you know. Yeah. I think I don't know. I have some pretty objective thoughts about it. Like, okay, these are the things I did well. These are the things I didn't. Lance is an opponent, I guess, kind of similar to Alex, where honestly, I felt in that fight, Alex was more kind of playing the edge. Like he was fighting a little more, I guess, passively, like trying to look for setups, which obviously he did well enough. But yeah, like I have a really easy time when guys are trying to like kind of stand in the pocket and trade, where it's the more elusive guys that I'm trying to work on, and I think Lance is one of those. So just trying to take the lessons from the last fight of like, okay, you know, maybe I was chasing him a bit too much, which I should pretty much never be chasing my opponents when I have the, you know, height and reach advantage over them for, you know, 99% of these matchups. So it's just, yeah, just trying to settle in. And honestly, like, I think some of these past couple fights, I've been doing too good of a job at like kind of dissociating and like I'll be walking into the cage, like not, I don't know, not feeling anything, like not feeling like nervous or anything. So I'm trying to kind of let that build a little more and try to feel the nerves more. Yeah, I don't know, just small adjustments. I feel like I was doing pretty decent, and yeah, obviously keeping in mind like I'm a jiu-jitsu guy first and foremost. So let's get it to where we want it to be, anyways.
For Lance, like, do you bring in anyone special, or you train with anyone different, or is it the same crew as always for you?
No, same gym, same team. Yeah, I think Lance, pretty much the only major difference is he's left-handed. I would say he's like decent overall, like kind of like he can strike a little bit, he can wrestle a little bit, he can do a little jiu-jitsu, but I wouldn't say he's a specialist anywhere. Where obviously I'm the specialist in the matchup, and yeah, I just trying to get the fight to where I want it to be, obviously, and like, yeah, I don't think this one's a crazy matchup as far as like, there's nothing super crazy I have to prepare for. I actually was in Denver, like, what was that, last week? I got to train with Corey Sandhagen and his team a little bit. That was awesome. Kind of like a more, I don't know, like a short notice trip out there, I guess. Just kind of randomly, I happened to be in the area. But other than that, yeah, just staying home, normal stuff.
With like this one, like, how do you kind of see playing out? Because it is an interesting one where like Lance, I think it's pretty obvious. I think he's just going to want to keep it standing, but like your striking has gotten a lot better. I think it is still underrated. Like, how do you kind of see this one playing out?
Yeah, I obviously, like, I've seen Lance around. I feel like the Bobby Green fight, or King, if you want to, you know, I don't know, one or the other. I guess legally it's King, but the Bobby Green fight, I think, has been very clearly like the hardest fight of Lance's career, as far as like just like fighting a veteran guy like that. And I mean, they called it a split decision, but I felt like not much happened that fight. But yeah, it doesn't seem like Lance is super active on the striking. Like he's very much like he's very content with point fighting. So yeah, I just obviously try to corral him, try to use my length to my advantage. I mean, I've seen him get dropped multiple times in the, you know, the fight footage I've watched. Yeah, I feel like more of his finishes have been against lower caliber guys, obviously like closer to 50-50 records outside of these major promotions. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm the veteran here in the
Mhm.
matchup, which is kind of funny being the younger guy. But I think I have more UFC fights than he does pro fights. You know, it's one of those things where I've been doing this thing a while, and I'm no stranger to tough fights, and I'm ready to. I think I can break him with the pace. I think I can break him with the pressure, and yeah, we can do it the easy way or the hard way. But I'm feeling pretty good about the matchup overall.
That is something I did want to ask you about is just the experience and the level of competition you've been in there against. Like, how much do you think that benefits you here? Where like, no, like obviously nothing against Lance, but like he isn't on paper the caliber of some of the guys that you have fought. Like, obviously he could be, we don't know it, but like just
Yeah,
kind of the guys you fought, like he isn't on that level.
yeah. Honestly, I guess the level of the opponent is one thing, but it's like I like to look at it, especially with these guys that don't have as much UFC experience. It's different if they come from LFA or you know, CFFC, one of these other big fight pass shows where they're fighting other tough guys. But if I can look at your past 5 fights and you know, I'm seeing one or two guys with like a winning record, like I don't know, I feel very confident that like I can just I don't know, like some of these guys are really good in the cage, like when they're winning. Like
Mhm.
some of these guys start to crumble as soon as things don't go their way, and I've definitely had opponents like that in the past. And yeah, I don't know. It'd be nice if Lance was like that, but I guess we won't know until we're in there. Yeah, MMA math wise, I've had much scarier opponents than this, but you know, no disrespect to him. It's just I've been around a long time, and hoping to stick around quite a while longer. And this is just the next step in that process.
Have you thought about what that walkout will be like for you? Like, obviously, you will be get the big pop, fan favorite, and all that. Like, have you thought about what that's going to be like?
Uh, I don't know. Like, I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm hoping Seattle shows up and shows out. It's one of those things where like I'm very happy to get the opportunity, like as far into my career as I am. You know, like if I got this type of a fight like at home in my first or second, third, fourth, fifth UFC fight, like it might have been feeling like a lot more pressure. Where now I'm actually looking forward to it, and like this will be my first time in my entire you know, MMA career where I'm gonna like pick my own walkout song and like just try and like have it down to like you know using that type of energy to
Mhm.
you know get me into the fight mode and hopefully put on a good performance for the home crowd. But hey, we'll see how it goes.
You get the win over Lance. Like, where do you think that kind of puts you in the division? Like, it is obviously a bit of a step down in terms of name, but like, where do that kind of puts you?
Yeah, I think it just kind of helps me start getting some of that momentum back. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, I was on a 5 fight win streak, lost the last one. I mean, to a super vet, you know, he's got a ton of fights too. Um, and then he went on to you know get some more wins out of the way, or you know he almost had another one, but had the weird whatever the hell was going on with the gambling stuff. But no, I mean, I and my like last 2 losses have been to like really high caliber guys. Look at Garcia's on the White House card now. Like
Mhm.
at the time, people were like, "Oh, you lost to a bum, whatever," and then now he's on a crazy win streak. You know, it's one of those things where like my losses have been to like high caliber guys. And I've gotten better after every single one. So I think it'll hopefully just give me some momentum back and maybe see if UFC wants to throw me on that IFW card or something. You know, I'm trying to get another one in before the summer and just get that momentum back and start working my way up the division again.
You kind of touched on it there just a bit further. Like, what is the goal for you this year? Like, is it like a certain amount of fights? Is it to like end of the year, like in the ranks or near? Like, is there a specific goal you have kind of for this year?
Um, I mean, 2 fights is kind of the minimum for me, but
Mhm.
like, and that's kind of what they've been having me at for years now. But if I could get 3, that would be awesome. But it's all about, I guess, winning, staying healthy, and stacking up the wins wherever I can get them. And we'll see how busy UFC wants to keep me, but I'm here for it.
This will be your first time fighting in this kind of like the Paramount era, like the new bonus structure. Like, does that kind of
Yeah,
add a bit to it, where it's a flat finish rate and then obviously the 100 grand like bonus as well?
Yeah, I've had damn, what have I had, like 6 finishes, I think, in UFC.
Yeah.
And I've only gotten bonus twice, so I would have made an extra little bit. It was an extra 50K, I guess, if it was just the flat 25 the whole time. But yeah, like it's so much nicer for the guys on bigger cards where it's like, you know, if you're fighting on a numbered card, which I mean, former pay-per-view, I guess, like you're probably, if you're on the prelims, you're not getting a bonus because these other higher up on the card guys generally get priority with that. So now it's nice to know, like, hey, if I do get a finish, like I'm going to get some extra money on top of it. And for some of these, like the entry level guys, if you're making 10 and 10, you're more than doubling your paycheck. So it's nice for the lower to medium tier guys. And I feel like I'm making a good amount. Like extra 25K is definitely nothing to shy away from. But I'm happy as long as I get my win check. Another $100,000, like that would be insane. I'd be making close to, you know, 300K for a fight. So it's one of those things where, like, I don't know, the 50K is like obviously amazing, but like 100 feels a lot more, I guess, like temporarily life changing, I guess, in this economy. Like it's something where it's like, oh, maybe I'll pay off my cars, maybe I'll, you know, put some money on my mortgage, that type of thing. Like do these big, you know, I don't know, that's not the most exciting thing. Buy a nice watch or something, but yeah, I don't know, these things where it's like, oh, I can just start eliminating debt from my life. I know, it's, yeah, old guy stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, just 2 more things for you. Michael Chiesa said this is going to be it for him, ending his career in Seattle. Like,
Yeah.
what's that like for you to share a card with him? I know you've trained with him a lot. I know he's kind of helped you and a lot of those like Pacific Northwestern guys come up. Like Terrance kind of said the same things. Like, what's it like for you to be able to share this card with him?
Yeah, I think he was actually supposed to come out a little bit ago. He ended up, I don't know, plans changed, whatever. But yeah, I got plenty of training with him in, and I've been on cards with him before. But yeah, it'll be cool to yeah, be able to, you know, share some history with a guy like that who's been around forever. I mean, he's got well over a decade in the UFC, and yeah, definitely has like made a name for himself in the Pacific Northwest. It's funny, I was looking at him and his opponent, like they're like within an inch on height and reach, and then they have the same exact record. It is so weird. Like they're almost identical if you look at them on paper. But yeah, it's a fun fight. I'm looking forward to it for him, and yeah, I'm interested to see where he'll go from there. I mean, he's got a sweet gig with the broadcast stuff, and yeah, I'm sure we'll get some more training in. I don't imagine he'll just pack it up. I think he'll be staying in there, but yeah, looking forward to it for him.
Just final thing, like kind of since last time you fought, lightweight division's been pretty crazy. Like you obviously have Ilya Gaethje upcoming. You had the Charles fight. You had Gaethje beating Patty. Like what have you kind of thought of the top of the lightweight division lately?
Yeah, it's still some of these older guys beating down the young bucks, but I guess that's how it's been. It just shows the caliber of these guys that are at the top, that have been at the top for a while, is they're just insanely high level. Gaethje was actually at Corey's gym when we were doing the sparring. I ducked him though. I was like, "Damn, you're looking big as hell right now. I do not want to get some rounds in." But no, it's been some fun fights at lightweight. Obviously, Max and Oliveira just happened. I'm pulling for Gaethje, but god dang, Ilya's good, and I hate watching him kill the legends, which I guess is kind of ironic coming from me fighting all the old guys myself. But you know, watching him murder Volk and Max and Charles, and then now he's got Gaethje next on the list. Like I was pulling honestly more for the Islam fight, but I would like to see Gaethje get that last title shot for sure. Yeah, fun division. I mean, it always has been one of the most active in the company. So hey, got some of the most dangerous guys. It's a great combo between strength and speed, and yeah, super exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing, I mean, who will hold the belts and who's going to be in the top 10 here at the end of the year.
Well, Chase, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this again.
Awesome. Great talking with you.
All right, we're joined by UFC featherweight Julian Erosa, who's back in action at UFC Seattle. Julian, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going great. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, I always enjoy talking to you. Like, it's been a bit since we saw you, like May of last year. Like,
Yeah.
was this a lot longer of a layoff than what I imagined you wanted?
Yeah, I got injured in my last fight. I broke my orbital, and so it took I would say maybe about 3 months for me to get fully back into training and sparring again. So I definitely needed a little bit of a layoff, but I was actually still trying to fight November, December of last year, and then it kind of kept getting pushed back, and I was like maybe January, February, and then I heard about the March 28th card in Seattle. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to take a layoff and I have to wait, I'll wait for that card. So I told my manager, I'm like, hey, obviously I wanted to fight earlier in this, but if you guys give me on the March 28th card, I'll wait, and I would be, more than grateful to get on that card because just, it's just kind of full circle for me. I really wanted to fight under the UFC banner in Washington State, so now I have that opportunity, and I'm just, I'm super thrilled about it.
Yeah, and the card, a lot of Washington guys on it. Like, they got you, like Kiesa, McKinney's there, like Chase Hooper's there. Like, it's a pretty cool, like, Washington card out for you guys.
Yeah, it's the last Seattle card they had, there was like nobody really, and so it's nice to really have everybody kind of round up and put on this card, and hopefully everybody makes it to the fight so we can really represent Washington State to the best of our abilities.
For you, like, did it really not matter than the opponent? It was basically just once they said Seattle, it was like a yes.
Yeah, I mean, it really, like, right now, like in my career, where I'm at with the UFC, I mean, with wherever anybody's at the UFC, you kind of can't be picky with who you're fighting. They're going to choose who you fight, and you should probably say yes if you want to keep your job, or if you want to be, the more of a company man you are, the better they treat you in the sense of like job security and stuff. So for me, it's ever since I've been in the UFC, it's like always yes. I'm gonna fight whoever, whatever, however. But every so often you want to try to maybe ask for small things, and one of my small things was just be able to fight on this card or fight sometime January or February. So it was like either I could get the timeline I wanted or the card I wanted, and but yeah, the opponent is just whoever they're willing to give me, man. I can't say no. You're fighting the cream of the crop. I mean, the UFC is the best of the best, and so if someone can make 146 pounds on Friday, I should have no qualms about fighting him on Saturday.
And your opponent, like, how familiar were you? Like, he's had some good wins on the regional scene, like Cam Teague, someone I think a lot of people thought was going to get to the UFC on the contender series. Like, Elijah Johns, he beat like Javier Reyes. Like, he's fought a lot of these guys that have gone out of the UFC or people thought were like on the cusp of the UFC. So, like,
yeah,
how familiar were you with him?
Obviously not very familiar with them at all. I mean, I seen the highlights of the Contender Series fight, and I think I actually watched that Contender Series fight, but I didn't know it was him until I, obviously looked him up once I got the contract and everything. And then I obviously watched a lot of his LFA fights and all of his kind of regional scene stuff. And yeah, he's it's obviously harder when someone has less UFC fights to really look him up, but he's got a lot of decent footage from those smaller regional cards, and so I think it's just it doesn't really matter how much you know or think you know about somebody. You really don't know until they're in the cage with you. How they're gonna feel and how what their mannerisms are and stuff. So for me, it's like you can do all the studying you want, but we're not gonna really know until the first minute of the fight goes, and I can really gauge where he's at, and where his grappling's at, and his striking and his wrestling and all the above. It's just going to be kind of something you got to figure out as the fight goes.
Do you think that UFC experience, like, do you think that matters in this one? Like, this will be his debut. You have obviously plenty of fights. Like, do you think that is a real thing, especially not just at the Apex? Like, this is a full, like, arena and everything.
Yeah, for sure. I think my experience goes, a long way. I mean, not only just my experience with the UFC, but I've got so many freaking fights. It's insane. And so, like, a little bit of both of those, like, kind of go into, the way I feel about the fight. I'm, like I said, I'll fight anybody. If you can make 146 pounds, I'm down to fight you. So, having that experience and having that, like, kind of mentality about it, I think eases my mind into fights. Whereas this is his debut, you never know. I mean, he's probably got a good camp, got a bunch of good guys around him. I think he trains at Cub Swanson's gym, so he has at the UFC veterans that he probably takes a lot of information from. But like I said, it's like you don't know until you're in there doing the thing. Walking out in front of thousands of people in a huge arena. Dana White. The matchmakers. Everybody's there, and so it puts you on the spot a bit more than I think like a regional show would. So having that, this will be my 18th time doing it. Not only 18 UFC fights, but 4 Ultimate Fighter fights where Dana's there too. So like, and then a Contender Series fight I had as well. So it's like I've had so much of these, pressure cooker moments that he hasn't had yet. And maybe he's a cold-blooded dude that just, it doesn't affect him at all. But that's, no matter how much you think it won't affect you, it's going to affect you at least to some degree. And so I'm about as cool, calm, and collected with walking out in a UFC fight now that I've ever been. And I think that's something I'll have an advantage over him, in this fight.
I know there's obviously tons of guys at Extreme and just people that come through Vegas all the time, but like, is there anyone specific you're working with for this camp?
Yeah, I mean, all the usuals. Dan Ige is a pretty good look for me. Obviously, he's a kind of shorter, stockier, heavy-handed guy. That's how Douglas is. I got Kai Kamaka, who was previously in the UFC, PFL, Bellator, all that stuff, and a handful of lower-level guys that like going to Extreme Couture. It's like you got guys that are on the like regional scene that are just kind of coming up that are so freaking good because they're just in the room with all the other good guys. So like even if there's guys that just only have a handful of pro fights, these kids are just as good as some of these UFC fighters. It's absolutely insane. I get all these kids that give me a good run for my money in the gym because they're surrounded by so many good guys. And so you don't necessarily need to have the high level or the Dan Iges for you to get ready in a gym like Extreme Couture. Everybody on the mat is an absolute savage. But all the usual guys, all the main group of featherweights that we have there that are helping me out.
I know like you're obviously a fan favorite anyway, just because of how you fight. But what do you think that walkout and reception's going to be like in Seattle for you? Yeah,
I think it's going to be big. I mean, obviously, I could go into anybody's home territory, and I still think I'm going to get a pretty loud applause, coming out, just because people do love my fighting style, regardless of if you're a fan of mine or my opponents. People always look forward to watching a Juicy J fight. So I'm just looking forward to going out there and being able to put on in front of all my friends and family. And I think it's going to be a little more stacked, obviously, for me. And not only that, all the people that are there for Chiesa, Terrance McKinney, Chase Hooper, those guys are also going to be adjacent fans to me too. So like we're all going to have, it's probably going to be a few thousand people that are there for all of us specifically there that know us. And so it's going to be quite the situation. It's going to, I feel like if you feed off the crowd, it's going to be that times 10.
And then the big changes here is obviously the bonus system changing a bit, just a flat fee if you get a finish, then $100,000. Does that make life a bit better for you? Because you're a guy like you get a lot of finishes and you get a lot of those fight of the nights or performance bonuses.
Oh, 100%, man. This is something I've talked about to a lot of people. I always thought, well, I mean, for the last couple of years, I tell people, I'm like, man, I think there should be a show money, win money, and a finish money. Mm-hmm. Like if you make whatever it is, like let's say you make $20,000 in the UFC, it's a show. Then you make $20,000 if you win, and then they should also do $20,000 if you get a finish, and they'll obviously cap that at a certain let's say guys that are making $500,000 a show, $500,000 to win. Obviously, the third one would get capped at like $50,000 or whatever the performance bonuses were at one point. But yeah, them upping the performance bonuses to 100 is already like if they would have done that, that already gets me excited. But the fact that they have 25,000 guaranteed if you get a finish. Man, I absolutely love it. I just wish they would do a little bit of back pay for some of us because, I would always go out there. I mean, they could not – they could keep it the same where it was $50,000 and no guaranteed finish bonus, and I'm still going to go out there and look for it because it's just the opportunity maybe get $50,000 extra that always gets me driving for finishes and to have exciting fights. And now that they going to guarantee me $25,000, you better believe I'm going for that finish 100% of the time. I'm not going to try to edge it out, edge each round out and win by a decision. Obviously, a win is better than a loss, but I'm always out there, kill or be killed, and that's just going to incentivize me even more.
Yeah, well, the Peterson fight would have been It was already a good night for you. That would have been even crazier if it was 100 grand. That
Jeez, it would have been 200.
Flat. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been.
The weight miss. That would have been a good night if I was back there.
Yeah. And that's actually, what's funny is my last fight with Melky, and I took a slightly short notice. I took kind of on 4 weeks after my Elkins fight, and my weight was a little heavy, and man, I it was probably the closest I've ever been to like quitting on a weight cut. But I told myself, I always go back in my head when I'm cutting weight about what happened to Peterson. He missed out on a lot of money because he missed weight, and so I just killed myself even further to make that weight. And sure enough, we got fight of the night. So if I would have missed weight, I would have missed out on a lot of money. So, it's always in the back of my mind when those things are happening, or when I'm cutting weight and I'm going through, when you go through the dark things in your head when you're cutting weight. And so that always gives me that extra motivation. What he did and how I, was able to make a lot of money from him missing weight. I don't want to lose out on money that I can guarantee myself by just making the weight.
I don't know if you do it, but I know I talked to a lot of fighters. I don't really get it, maybe just because I've never done the weight cut. Is what's with you guys all watching like the food channel and like food stuff while I feel like seeing food when I'm starving is like the last thing I'd want to see.
Oh, I know. Maybe it's the type of character that we are. Maybe we like to suffer a bit more, but that's how I am. I love it. I watch the Food Channel Network, all the old Guy Fieri TV show, the diners and whatever, drive-ins or whatever. I love that show, especially when I'm cutting weight, because it's the anticipation of it. It's like, I'm going to suffer more, a little bit more. And then also it's bad for us because what happens is after the fight, after we make weight, we just become gluttons and we eat way too much than we should. After fights, I balloon up pretty big. I mean, I think most fighters do because we overdo it. And so there's got to be a fine balance that you got to have. But yeah, I love it, man. I love watching all the Food Channel stuff. I think it's just the anticipation of being able to enjoy it soon.
Back to your fight with Douglas, like kind of seems like you guys are pretty similar. Both you guys, like a lot of other finishes, kind of that killer kill beat fighters. Like, how do you kind of see this one playing out?
Yeah, I think he's a bit more tentative than I am. I'm a bit more active in the fight. I'm always just kind of going forward and pressing and throwing a bunch of whatever it is, kicks, punches, whatever it is. I'm just kind of high output, and he seems to be a bit more reserved, looking for kind of that one hit shot. And so I think you're going to see kind of that going on. It's going to be me being very busy, him kind of biding his time and hoping to find an opening. But I think I'll be able to keep him at my kicking range or keep him at kind of the clenching range. That's where I want to be. He's going to be stronger in the boxing range, so I want to either be way out or way in. And I think he's going to be at the opposite of that, where he wants to be kind of at that boxing range because that's where his power is at. He doesn't throw very many kicks. He does a little calf kicking here and there, but he's really predominantly more of a right cross or a left hook to put you out. So I got to be aware of that. I got to be defensively aware, especially early on. But I think if I keep him at kicking range, the night's going to look good for me.
For you, like you get the win, it would be your 10th UFC win. Like, does that mean anything getting double digits? Like, I think for you, it's been like obviously a long journey. Like, not many guys get a second or even like a third shot of the UFC. So like to get 10 wins, like would that mean anything to you?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've had a couple of goals. When I first got in the UFC a long time ago, there really wasn't necessarily a goal I had. Then I got cut from the UFC, and I got back to the UFC, and then got cut again. And but when I was going through that situation, my original goal was to get to 10 UFC fights, just in general. And then when I finally got the third stint in the UFC and got a couple of wins, I was like, man, this could actually be possible. So it was the first thing was just to get 10 UFC fights. And then after I got to that, then it was like, oh, maybe I can get 10 UFC wins. And so my goal right now is kind of, the 10 UFC wins, and I want to get to 20 UFC fights. So, I feel like I still got a few more left in me. I'm getting a little older, so, 36 years old. And so I think maybe a few more in me, but I would like to get to 20 UFC fights and 10 UFC wins. Those are my two kind of main goals, and hopefully I can get it done this year. But we'll see. Take it one fight at a time like I always do. I never try to look past any kind of opponent. I think this is a favorable matchup for me, based strictly on the experience that I have. But just one fight at a time, focus on Leron Douglas and getting a finish.
Do you think of 50 pro fights? Like, I was looking at that. Like, I think you're like 6 or 7 away. Like I don't know if you count tough. I think you probably passed at it pretty close. But like, is that a thought of like that would be a cool thing, or is it more like the UFC markers?
Yeah. With the fighting, I used to be kind of I think everybody kind of becomes like hyper focused on certain things, and one for me was kind of the win loss ratio with my record, because I didn't want to surpass 10 losses before I surpassed 30 wins, but then that kind of happened, and it was just like, then I realized it really doesn't matter. I kind of forget how many fights I have anyways, because I get to the point where I'm just like, I don't even care about specifically that. But I do think it's more important when you're thinking about longevity and the UFC versus longevity in fighting. There's so many guys that fight. I could get 50 fights easily. I could just go lose a bunch of fights. I could, get cut from the UFC and just go fight a bunch of times, fight a handful of weekends in a row, and doesn't matter how it happens. I can go up weight class or whatever. So that specifically doesn't really bother me because it's not necessarily how many fights you have; it's the quality of those fights. Did you make featherweight? Did you do that? Because that's way harder. I could go on a regional show, fight 55 or 70 even, and not cut any weight and be completely fine. And beat some nobody, and that means nothing to me, But to go out to make 145 pounds on a Friday night and then go, showcase my abilities on Saturday against somebody who's deserving and just as good as I am, and sometimes even better, and have the opportunity to beat those guys. Those are where it really means something, and that's why I think a lot of the wins I think about that look good now are the only wins that are from the UFC. It's like I don't think about regional show wins unless those guys made it to the UFC. But if I beat somebody at the regional show for a title, but then now they don't fight anymore or whatever, what does it really mean? It meant something that night, but now it's kind of like whatever. But me knocking out Nate Landwehr still holds a lot of water, and it's like something I can be proud of because that guy's still doing well in the UFC and he's still fighting. And so, that's the difference in between that. I don't really care about having 50 fights, but to get 20 UFC fights, that really means something to me.
Just two more things, like kind of said there, you don't know how much longer you got. Like, is there any guys or locations you want to fight before your career is up? Like, is there anything specific thing you want to do?
I really wanted to go fight in Houston. I thought that would have been fun. Texas seems like a fun place to go fight. But no, not necessarily. I mean, I'm willing to fight anywhere. Like I said, anywhere, anybody. I don't want to leave the country because it's easier to fight in the country, obviously. And so I would prefer to fight in the United States. But Texas would be a fun one. But opponents, not specifically. I think anybody. I have everybody from like veterans like Darren Elkins to newcomers like Douglas. So and anywhere in between. So it really doesn't bother me. The paycheck's still the same usually, so it makes no difference to me who it is, where it is. Like obviously for this one, once I got this fight for the Seattle, now I'm completely content in fighting anywhere else. It doesn't bother me. I'm just glad I was able to get this fight in Seattle. I just hope that he makes it to the fight, I make it to the fight healthy, and we can have a good fight and nothing gets pulled because it's always been my dream to fight under the UFC banner in the Washington State area.
Just final thing, like, what is kind of the goal for you this year? I know it's like to be as active as possible. Like, do you have any specific goals for the rest of the year?
I mean, obviously, winning fights is about as important as it comes. But if I could please get 3 fights, man, I just want it sucks because obviously injury happens too, but it seems like there's a lot of times where you kind of get shelved for no reason, whether they can't find a fight for you or whether it's the opponent or cards are getting filled up too much. I think there's way more people on the roster every few months. It seems like there's more and more people, and you can't add more weekends. I mean, they basically fight every weekend. So for me, if I could get 3 fights in this year, I would love that. That would be my biggest goal, and then I can kind of just reassess from there.
Well, Julian, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this again.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, we're joined by UFC lightweight Terrance McKinney, who's back in action here and fighting out in Seattle. Terrance, how's it going, man?
I'm doing great, man. A little tired from training, but that's part of the game.
First thing I want to ask you is, like, you get the call to be on Seattle. I know you weren't on the last time they went out there. Like, how excited are you to be fighting out there this time?
This is like a dream come true. Like fighting in your hometown, pretty much. Like, this is something we dream of. So, couldn't be more happy and grateful to God for this opportunity.
It was weird the last Seattle card how like none of you guys were really on it. Like I was talking
Yeah,
to
no.
Julian Erosa about it, and now he's got like Erosa, you, Kiesa, Hooper, like you guys are all on it. So it seems like they're kind of making up for what they did last year, 2 years ago, whatever.
Yeah, finally, well, how we none of us on this card?
Uh, for you, like once they said Seattle, like did the opponent really not matter? Like it was more just about getting a chance to fight at home in Seattle.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered who I fought. I would have said yeah, especially on the Seattle card.
I know you're out in Florida now, but like you obviously are from out the Pacific Northwest way. So like, what are you kind of expecting the crowd reaction to be like for you?
Uh, all my people are coming, so like I'm just excited to. It's been a long time since I was able to fight like in Seattle or close to my hometown. So like I'm just excited just to see the turnout and just feel the crowd energy, just like the old times in high school.
Uh, your last fight, what do you kind of take away from that one? Just like obviously it was a kind of a hectic fight, like it was pretty crazy. Like you almost finished Chris, and he comes back finishing. What do you kind of take away from that one?
Uh, just calm down just a little bit because as I saw, like I was able to hurt him. I was having good counters. If I just slow down a tad bit, like I did, like in the first 10 seconds when I was picking my shots, it was landing a lot cleaner. Just being more focused on just landing one or two shots instead of throwing the flurries, and eventually like basically what Bobby Green did, and the KO. Then the finish is gonna come. Just gotta take my time.
Uh, I know you didn't take a ton of damage. It's just a submission. So like, was this kind of the right time frame for you then? The end of March, like kind of
Yeah, it was perfect. I could have fought sooner, but like it's all right. It gives me more time to adjust and to make the right adjustments.
still out in Florida training, or like, did you bring in anyone different for this camp? Or is it the same kind of cast as
You know,
usual?
same camp, and it's kind of nice because like everyone's been like pretty much like a kicking kind of person. So like I feel like I'm well prepared for that.
And your opponent, Kyle Nelson, like, how familiar were you with him?
I watched this fight with Ravola. Um, I think like they're pretty much, to my opinion, they're pretty close in the skill level. He just got like landed a couple clean shots that affected Favola. But before he landed a clean shot, Favola was winning the rounds. So just make sure I'm not running into anything like because he throws like a bunch of overhands and has like a sneaky nine. But just staying away from that, and good things should happen.
He's a similar guy to you that like he was at 45 and just kind of got too big for 45. He's at lightweight now, but you've been at lightweight for a bit longer. Like, do you think there'll be a big size or like strength advantage? Do you think it'll be pretty similar? Like, do you think he actually is probably a lightweight?
I think he cuts a good amount of weight. He looked big against Favola, but like I said, we'll just have to see once we're in the cage. But I think now that I got older, I'm definitely like one of the bigger lightweights, weight wise. So I can't wait to put the weight on him to use my strength advantage.
I know Michael Chiesa's meant a lot to you. So, like, what's it like kind of sharing a card with him? And he kind of said this is going to be his retirement fight. So, like, what's that kind of mean like for you?
This is huge, man. Cause I was able to see him right when he got back from the Ultimate Fighter when he won the show, and now I get to see him hang the gloves up. So, and he got to see me finish my career wrestling. So, like, it kind of like full circle. And I just know it's like something amazing is going to happen. And I can't wait to send him his farewells and have dinner with him after we both get the victory.
I know it's not teammates, but like just having a bunch of those guys from Seattle, will that make fight week easier? Like, will you kind of hang out and cut weight with them, or do you kind of do stuff on your own?
Yeah, vibe out with him, cut weight, and yeah, so I know all the energy's gonna be right, and yeah, just trusting in God, and just I just know like I'm right there because people I fought that I've done good against, and like they end up getting ranked. So it's just a matter of time. I just got to make the adjustments, and my main event's gonna be coming soon in Jesus' name.
Your kind of whole life's been kind of a roller coaster and kind of crazy. So, like, does this kind of feel like kind of a dream, like getting a fight in the UFC in Seattle?
Yeah, this is like a dream. Like I said, it's kind of like a Kodak moment. You know what I mean? Like especially like being there for Kiasa and just and like of all places, Washington. So like yeah, this is incredible, and I'm just gonna make sure I soak it all in and just manage my emotions wisely and walk out with the victory.
I feel like you and Kyle are pretty similar. You guys both like being aggressive pretty early and land a lot of powerful shots. Like, how do you think you kind of match up against him?
I think, like I said, I'll have the reach advantage. I think I got the speed advantage. I just can't go wow if I hurt the man because he also has power too. So, like I said, just actually listen to my coaches and stick to the game plan this fight. And I know I have plenty of tools to win. It's just actually using them and taking my time. That's just the main goal. Just don't rush it. Pretty much just one or two punches, and yeah, good things gonna happen if you take your time. Don't rush it.
Do you think that is a downside of all those early finishes you get? Is like you kind of know that you can't finish these guys early. That like you do start kind of rushing things a little bit.
Yeah, and then I just had to realize like now what the level I'm at. It's pretty much like getting to state finals, and if you rush anything, you're gonna make mistakes and get caught. So now that you're in the final, that's when you be strategic and you got to break these guys down slowly and just fight like the veterans do at this rate because you got to take your time and break these guys down because they're going to want it just as bad as you, and their skill and will is going to be there. So you got to take that away from them minute by minute.
How do you kind of see this one playing out? Like, I think this should probably kind of has bonus written all over it for whoever gets it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure, but I'm ready to go the distance and do it for my people in the Pacific Northwest. So whether it's first round finish or second or third, we got the tools to finish this fight. I think I'm the better fighter, and I can't wait to show that.
Since last time you fought, bonuses go up. I know it's a flat rate just to get a finish, and like it's kind of crazy that you don't have these bonuses in all these fights. So like, does the flat finish kind of help a bit where you get 25 grand?
Oh yeah, man, I'm excited about this year, and like they said, I get the finish pretty much every time, so it's gonna be good, and I get to finally work my way towards getting my family a house this year. So like I said, the sky's the limit. I see where Chris is at, and I was a couple punches away if I took my time or even took him down and got the submission. I could have been right there. So I'm ready to lock in and just enjoy the 15 minutes and not rush it and do what I got to do to get where I know I can be.
I know you've told me before that you've like the UFC has kind of helped you out after the fight when you don't get a bonus, but like, is it crazy to you like that? Like on record, you don't have any bonuses without like kind of quick like the Frivola fight, you could have got one. The ZM fight was impressive. Like you have all these quick finishes, not get one's kind of crazy.
Yeah, man. I think, like I said, my time will come, and but yeah, I think this is definitely one to do it on. I think I'm like I said, if we're in Seattle, if I get a first round or a dominant finish, they get this the one.
You get the win over Kyle, and say you do get a finish. Like, where do you think that kind of puts you in the division? Like, kind of talked about like Chris is getting a main event spot against McConnell. Like, you've been in there against guys that are like in that top 10, top 15.
Mm-hmm. I think this puts me in a good position. At least one more win and then a ranked fight. So for me, I think the White House need a black on black crime. And that's the only thing that is missing, and that's America right there. So maybe need Dollar Green or Michael Johnson next at the White House. That'd be perfect.
Just final thing, like, what is the goal for you this year? Like, I know you like to be as active as possible, so like first fight end of March, kind of later than what you probably wanted. So like, what is the goal for the rest of the year?
3 to 2 fights.
Yeah,
That's the goal.
probably end the year in the rankings if all goes well. Then that's kind of
Yes, sir. That's the plan.
well, Terrance, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this again.
Yes, sir. Local.
All right, we're Jumbo UFC. Lightweight Kyle Nelson is back and actually has a pretty fun fight upcoming in Seattle. Kyle, how's it going, man?
It's going great.
Obviously, it's been a bit since we saw you. Pretty unusual fight against Matt Vola. Like, you thought you got the stoppage, ends up going the distance. Like, just kind of quickly on that one, like, what was that like? Because it is like a big adrenaline kind of emotional dump, like thinking you win and having to kind of restart. Like, we've seen that a couple times, and then those fighters end up losing and getting finished later on in the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you go from thinking you won the fight, you get the bit of a adrenaline dump. My coach came in. We were all kind of celebrating, And then obviously because my coach thought the fight was over, the commentators thought the fight was over. My coach didn't like bring in a bucket or water or the stool or anything because we were kind of celebrating. So by the time we found out that the fight wasn't over, you know, we didn't really have much time to actually regroup or catch my breath between rounds or anything like that. So it was definitely tough. And then I thought, well, you know, Matt was pretty hurt, you know, trying to get up after that first round. So I figured we just, you know, go out and try and finish him off. But Matt came back pretty strong in that second round.
And then obviously you didn't take a whole lot of damage. Like, was this a bit longer than what you wanted, or was this kind of the time frame you were looking at?
It was roughly the timeline. I knew the UFC was going to be coming to Canada sometime around like the fall. So I was more so aiming for the Canadian card, but then we got this fight, and I loved the matchup, so we took it.
I know Winnipeg is a bit after this card, so is that a bit disappointment? But Seattle is kind of like the next best thing if you aren't in Canada, because it's just right there.
Yeah, just over the border.
Were you disappointed not to get on the Canada card? Like, I know it got announced after you got booked, like, or do you not really care that much?
I was hoping to get on it, and the rumors when it first was almost announced was Ottawa, and like that would have been very close to like there or Toronto, or like as close as you can get to kind of where I'm from. So that would have sucked if they had come to Ottawa and didn't have me on. But Winnipeg is, I don't know, I've been to Winnipeg before, and it's
not the best.
yeah. So I mean, I would love to fight there for the sake of fighting in Canada, but it's not as big of a heartbreak as Ottawa or Toronto would have been.
With this one, like Terrance McKinney, fan favorite kind of guy. Like, how excited were you to get this opponent?
Very excited. Obviously, he's one of the guys that you know, as soon as you hear his name, you kind of remember some of his fights and stuff, and so it's always good fighting. You know, somebody that even though he's not like in the top 15 or anything, he's kind of somewhat of a household name. So yeah, and you know, I like his style. I think it also matches up well against my style. I think I've got a lot of answers to his style. So I think it's a great matchup, good name, and yeah, it'll help me keep climbing the lightweight rankings.
For the, like, he is kind of that killer Kilby fighter. So like, do you just kind of expect like that first round to be pretty chaos for as long as it lasts? Yeah,
absolutely. I don't think he's gonna switch up his game plan or his strategy. You know, I think he's gonna kind of do what he always does. And I think I'm far too durable. I think my defense and stuff is too tight for him to really get anything in. And then I think he gets so wild and so open in his attacks that there's going to be a lot of opportunity for me to land something.
Do you think that durability at lightweight like is a big difference compared to you at 45?
I think so. I think my defense has always been great. I just think in the preparation to some of my 45 fights, I think we kind of crossed the line from like cutting weight into like the malnourished kind of area, like the Billy Quarantillo fight. Like, felt great the first round, like first 4 minutes, and then just like it was like my muscles turned off. There's been a couple instances of that happening. I think just where we made the weight, but you know, we didn't. We had to cut so many calories and you know, burn so much muscle to get down to that weight that by the time we got there wasn't much left. So at 155, I'm able to power through. My training camps are going much better because I'm fueled the whole time. Not nearly as many injuries like in my last featherweight fight against Garcia. Like, it was so like I hurt my back, I hurt my leg, and like everything was getting banged up. Just, I think, from not being fueled very well.
Do you think you are like, now that you've had a bit at lightweight, like, do you think you are a natural lightweight now? Like, you've added the size, the strength, kind of compete with those guys? Or do you still think you might be a bit on the smaller side?
No, I think I was probably always a lightweight. Like when I went to the PI the first couple of times and we did all the strength tests and the body index stuff, I was like in like the very top of 145 as far as the muscle I was carrying and all that stuff. And they even said at that point, like I can't remember exactly what the numbers were, but they were saying I was carrying too much muscle to physically make 145. So all my 145 cuts, we have to first we burn off all the fat, as much fat as we can, and then we have to get into burning off muscle because there's just too much lean mass for me to physically make 145. So we would spend, a few weeks just burning muscle, which was the worst. So I think I probably could have always been a 55er. But yeah, now I'm a little bit older now too, and I definitely feel like I've filled out for sure.
With this one, like, do you change anything up, bring in anyone, or the kind of the same people you always work with to prepare for Terrance?
For the most part, it's the same. We brought in a couple people to kind of emulate his style a little bit. And then, a lot of the guys that I work with, they can kind of emulate any style anyways. But yeah, so more so just got some guys that are kind of similar to him. Some guys that like blitz a little bit more and get a little bit wilder and stuff like that. But yeah, mainly my same training partners and stuff, and then one or two new guys.
I know Terrance is from like the Pacific Northwest, so do you kind of imagine it's going to be a lot of booze? But I feel like that Mexico fight kind of compares, because nothing really compares to what Mexicans are like when you have to fight a Mexico in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I fought a Mexican in Mexico. I fought an English guy in the UK at the O2 Arena. So I think I've seen some of the, more animated crowds. So I don't expect Seattle to be quite like that, but I know I'll be the away guy and they'll be cheering for him for sure.
How do you kind of see this one playing out then? Like, should be a pretty fun fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I see him obviously coming forward, probably getting a little bit wild. We'll see if I tag him early, and we'll see how he reacts to that, if he wants to start wrestling or what happens at that point. But I definitely see him coming forward early. I think he'll get frustrated and not being able to land his big shots. Mm-hmm. And then I think I'll start to pick him apart if I don't land something big early on. And then again, the longer the fight goes, if he doesn't run into something big early on, the longer it goes, the more I'm going to pick him apart. And the more I think he's going to gas, and it's just going to make me look better. I think the later the rounds go, but I definitely don't see it going the distance.
And for you, like, this is your first time fighting in that kind of like the Paramount era, which I know doesn't change much for us in Canada, but the big thing is obviously the bonuses, like a flat 25K if you get a finish, and like 100 grand. Like, does that add a bit more excitement as well to you?
I think, like, I fight as hard as I can either way. It's nice to know that there's the possibility of something like that. I've had a couple finishes in the UFC and stuff, and haven't got a bonus yet. But I think, again, with McKinney's style, I think it's definitely going to be up there for a fight of the night or a performance.
You get the win here. Like, where do you think that kind of puts you in the lightweight division? Like 2-0 since moving back up, like 2 wins over some pretty big names in Matt and Terrance. Like, where do you think that kind of puts you in the division?
I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to the rankings. I don't really know how that stuff works. It'd be cool to break into the top 15, but lightweight's a pretty stacked division. And I don't know if it really makes that much of a difference whether I'm, 15th or 16th, other than, I don't know, maybe they put that little number beside my name, which would be cool, but that's not what I'm in it for. I'm in it to win fights and hopefully one day get up there to the championship. So I don't pay too much attention to that.
What is kind of the goal for you then this year? Like, kind of fighting at the end of March, can probably fit in at least 2 more. Like, what is kind of the goal for you?
Yeah, 1 more for sure. Again, I've heard rumors about maybe another Canadian card in September. So, like, I wouldn't mind winning this fight. And I'd love to see someone like I'd love to fight like Drew Dober in September. And then I'm on like the Huntsville volunteer firefighter now. So I'm doing a lot of that stuff as well. So it'd be cool to focus on that a little bit after this fight and then get right into a training camp for September.
Just final thing, like you kind of mentioned Drew, you kind of mentioned Canada stuff. Like, is there any, not even next, but is there any opponents, locations you kind of want to fight before your career is up?
I'd definitely like to fight in Toronto again. Obviously, so I fought there once, like in the UFC, but it was like that 3-day notice and just everything was a whirlwind. I didn't really get to sit back and soak it in. So I'd definitely love to fight in Toronto again. If not, I think Ottawa would be also pretty cool. But somewhere close to my hometown would be definitely on the bucket list. And then as far as opponents, I've only really got Drew Dober in mind right now. But yeah, it seems like the lightweight division. I mean, it's a stacked division, but it is the top 5 are getting a little bit older and starting to retire. So I think it's gonna open up soon, and I think I've still got a few years left. So yeah, I think I can try and climb up there pretty quick.
Well, Kyle, I appreciate the time. Thanks so much for doing this again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah. All right, we're joined by UFC bandwidth Adrian Yanez, who's back in action here. It seems pretty quick notice. Adrian, how's it going, man?
Man, going well. And yourself?
I'm doing well. Like, kind of start right there. This fight only didn't seem like you had a lot of notice. Is that the same for you, or did it just not get announced for a while for whatever reason?
No. That this came across my table the day that Moreno and Kavanaugh fought. That Saturday, Friday, Saturday. That's whenever I got notified about it, and then talked with the coaches, and it went forward. So yeah, so shorter notice than what I would like, but. Luckily for me, I kind of just been consistently in the gym, so I'm out here in Dallas. My family's back home. So I'm just like, well, I have nothing to do, so I might as well just train. So I've been training this whole entire time.
So what you have, like 3-4 weeks notice kind of then for this one?
Yeah, just about.
And like for you, I know you're always training, but like what does that kind of 3-4 weeks look like now that it is an opponent? Like, do you just put a lot of focus on Ricky, or is it still kind of just doing what you've been doing and kind of focusing on yourself?
Oh yeah, no, we've been focusing on Ricky specifically, and just trying to find ways of success, always looking for the path of least resistance and all that. So yeah, it's kind of been just locked into what Ricky does. So like, it was outside of camp, it was all about me and growing. And then once I got into camp, I was like, okay, cool. Like, the tides are turning. Let's focus on this, because it is Ricky Simón. He's been at the top of the level for like, he's been in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
He's fell in some rough patches here and there, but man, he's still here, and he's continued to show up and show out. And so for me, like he has a win over the former champ Rob. So like, for me, like, I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, I got to go out there. I got to be on my A game, because, man, Ricky's no joke. So I'm taking this full, like 100%. He has my 100% full attention.
Were you surprised to get a guy like Ricky, or like, what did you kind of expect? Or do you think it was going to be someone in the rankings? Like, what were you kind of expecting?
Oh, I don't know. Honestly, it's like someone even someone in the rankings was like way, like, I'm not even thinking about that right now, because again, even though it was a close one with Marcos, I just didn't think I'd be like granted a fight against someone who was ranked. I didn't think it made sense for the UFC. Like, it would have made, for me, it would have been amazing. It would have been amazing, but at the same time, it just didn't feel like it was like whoever I got matched up with, it was not going to be a ranked guy. That was in my head. But this is also, for me, getting Ricky is almost like I'm getting a ranked fighter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's same. Like, he's been in the top 10. He's fought Uriah Faber. He's fought Merab. He's fought a lot of these elite guys. So like, this is something that gets you out of bed and go work, So like, as long as I'm not fighting like no name, I got Ricky Simón in front of me, who's a dangerous motherfucker. So got to go out there. He got 2 dangerous motherfuckers ready to go in and throw hands.
I know we talked when he was supposed to fight Quinones, and then obviously that fell through. Like, were you surprised it kind of took this long for you to get rebooked, or is that something you were fine with? Like, what kind of happened there?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought me and Christian were gonna be rebooked to a later date, because that was what my manager was like. We're gonna try to get that fight again, but at a later date, just because he had visa issues. But yeah, honestly, after that, once I heard that, I'm because it was a little upsetting for me whenever Christian got rebooked, and it wasn't against me. That's whenever I started asking questions, and they were just like, okay, well, I think their side just wanted to go in a different direction. And, it's cool, it's fine. I'm not. There's no ill will towards it, but it was like a little bit annoying. I was like, it was like, this is the guy who had visa issues. Something that he should have been on. Like, again, he's a grown man. He has to do his own thing. He has to do everything his right way and all that stuff. So he had visa issues. So I was like, bro, like, he falls off the week of the fight, puts me in a scramble, messes up my plans, and then on top of that, like, he gets rebooked before I did. Like, I'm taking a shorter notice. Yeah, I was a little bit like annoyed by it, but it is what it is. It's the fight game, So I can't sit back and dwell on it. So I'm just moving forward, but ended up getting Ricky Simone, and honestly, to me, it's like that name has a lot more meaning to it than Christian Quinones, So for me, it's an amazing opportunity that I'm gonna get.
Were you surprised after that Quinones fight fell through that they didn't try to get you on that Houston card a couple weeks ago? Because I thought you were going to be a shoo-in to be on that one.
Yeah, you and me both. Yeah, I thought I was gonna be able to get on that Houston card. But yeah, and I looked, and I don't think there was not even one bantamweight fight on that card. If it was, it should have been me. But like, honestly, I don't know. I've been asking for Houston since like 2021. Once we started going back to arenas, and yeah, like I don't know. I really don't know what happened there. Like we were on it. Yeah, I was actively trying to get on it. I even had hope for fight like something. But oh.
Yeah.
And I was hoping for maybe something for fight week, but come to find out, never came through. So a week later, I ended up getting a matchup.
Back to the your fight with Ricky, like he's guy kind of last couple of years has been up and down, but you look at the guys he's losing to, like some of the top guys of the division. So do you kind of is there a thought of like, hey, he might be losing step, or do you kind of look at it like he's losing to like some of the best guys in the division?
Yeah, no, I look at it as like he's losing to some of the best guys in the division. Everybody can look at whatever they want to. Like again, he lost to Uriah Faber, who at that time was like the California kid. Like he was still in his prime. He was a veteran. He was able to pick a lot of stuff up. And then he fought Song Yadong, and like Song Yadong is a really tough guy. He's not losing to no namers. He's losing to and it's competitive too. It's not an easy one. It's not an easy one. So for me, I'm looking at it like it's not like, again, Hani Barcelos, another one, another great fighter, so like he's out there like having wars with high level guys. So for me, it's like, it's more of an excitement, and it's also better for me because like if I go out there, knock out Ricky, it's way better than me going out there and knocking out Christian Quinones. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more name value to Ricky Simone. So for me, like I love the opportunity, and I can't wait to go out there and try to knock Ricky out.
For Ricky, like this one, like do you imagine he's going to be wrestling heavy? Like he's kind of some fights he gets away from the wrestling, but I think like just with how good everyone knows he boxes, like do you imagine he'll put an emphasis on wrestling here?
Oh yes, 100%. I think he's gonna wrestle. I think he's gonna shoot. Like if for him to just primarily strike with me, I feel like that would be a stupid decision in this, because it's like he needs, like, again, like in this fight with Hani Barcelos, it was a super close fight, and he had to mix it all together, and I feel like he's gonna have to do the same with me, because if you just strike with me, like like him just striking with me, especially at his level of striking and my level of striking, I don't think it would be a good idea. But again, he's been out there and he's been able to surprise a lot of people, and he knocked out Javed Basharat, which honestly, if I was looking on paper, I thought it would have been the other way around, because Javed was pretty good. But so he's dangerous still on the feet, no matter what I say. So we're looking like and again, I do think he's going to be wrestling heavy.
For this one, like you are going kind of like his home state, like everything, like what do you imagine the crowd reaction is going to be like? Obviously you're not going to be well liked out there.
Yeah, no, honestly, I haven't even really thought about it. Like I frankly don't care. Don't care too much. Like the only thing that I care about is like if it's a close fight, I know the judges are going to be leaning towards his way. Uh, like I could win. I could be a 60-40 my round, but they're going to give it to Ricky because again, I don't know, just the hometown stuff happens. I seen it happen in Texas all the time. you know, from Fury fights to the UFC fights to like almost every regional fight in Texas, there's always some type of bias towards like you're the hometown person. They bring somebody in, and yeah, like you see it happen all the time. But I'm not too worried about it. I'm more along the lines of like getting to the fight, getting in front of Ricky, and then us fighting, and whatever happens, happens. So for me, like I'm just really excited, looking forward to the challenge that Ricky's gonna bring.
With this on, like, how do you kind of see this fight playing out?
Honestly, like I see us going all 3 rounds. I see us going all 3 rounds because I know he's gonna be shooting in, and I'm gonna be going out there and just trying to put his lights out. But I do feel like I'm gonna be edging out these rounds. Like, and I know Ricky's super hard to put away. So, like me saying I'm gonna knock him out, a lot of times can sound foolish, but I know he's been cracked before, and I would like to see if I can crack him if I put him out. But man, for me, like in my head, I'm like going on a 3-round war. In his head, he might be in a 3-round like wrestling fest. So I think it plays out like a full, well-rounded MMA fight going to war for 3 rounds.
You haven't fought in a bit. Do you worry about ring rust or anything, or do you just think because of the training and like just sparring, it kind of takes it away?
Yeah, no, again, consistently, I've been in the gym and I don't feel like I've lost a step. My mind's been a lot sharper, a lot sharper these past couple months. It's like I'm really dialed in. I don't feel like it's gonna bother me as soon as I go in there. Honestly, the biggest thing I'm worried about is just the fight not happening for some reason. So like I got a little bit of PTSD of like being there fight week and then the fight being pulled. So like all I want is just to be able to see Ricky on weigh-in day and then the next day fighting. So that's the only thing I'm more worried about, more concerned about.
You get the win over Ricky. Like, where do you think that kind of puts you in the bantamweight division?
Man, honestly, hopefully it gets me close to the top 15. And yeah, like honestly, I hope it gets me closer to the top 15. Because like I don't know where I stand right now. Like I don't know if I'm in the middle, if I'm in the back, or if I'm like getting close to getting like again because this is a great position. Like the fight, let's just say a win over Ricky gets me closer to the top 15. Like man, like or in the top 15 because again, like I feel like a good solid like let's just say I knock him out. Like I think that does put me in the top 15. But again, I can't be like this is also me being a little bit delusional about the rankings and all that stuff because this bantamweight is super stacked. But hopefully, it gets me closer to the rankings.
Just final thing for you, like what is kind of the goal then for you this year? I imagine probably be as active as possible after last year.
Yeah, man, I 100%. I would like to fight again sometime this year. Try to get another one in. Like honestly, like since I've been kind of sidelined, man, I just want to get active again like that. Like I need an end goal and with me fighting and me not having to fight for like about a month, like a year and like a couple months, like definitely has me like wanting to itch that like, no, I got to go compete. So for me, I just want to go in there, fight, and get ready for the next one.
Well, Adrian, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.